y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing a few tips and resources to kind of help and encourage your emerging writers. So stick around. Now, I am using the phrase emerging writer, but really you can even use it for some of these. You can really use it across the board, I feel like. I'm just saying emerging writer because that's personally what I have. My daughter is an emerging writer, and a little bit of a hesitant or reluctant writer. It's just not her favorite activity. But we all know that it is something important. And so there are a few things through trial and error I have kind of learned and figured out, and a few resources that I have found recently that I want to share with you guys in hopes that maybe it helps. And so, of course, this is not going to work for everyone. Do not take this as like set in stone. This is what you have to do. Y'all know that, but I feel like I just need to kind of say that before every one of these tips and tricks type of videos, because I know what it's like to be on the other end of watching these videos and thinking, you know, okay, this is it, you know, like you find someone who's talking about something that you're currently dealing with or struggling with, or a season that you're in, and you're like, all right, well, this person has my answers. That's not necessarily true. Obviously, the hope is that these will be helpful to you, and that you'll be able to use them or a portion of them and maybe, help you and your child. But, if they don't work, that's okay too. This just is what happens to work for us and things that we like. So yeah, there you have it. We're going to do tips first, and then towards the end, I will share with you guys some of the fun little resources and things that I have found to help kind of encourage writing. So tip number one, and this is not strictly writing related. This is basically life related, but I think especially when it comes to homeschooling, and then, if you really want to be specific with writing, is to know your limits and to know your child's limits. Know at what point are we going to be disconnected? How much can I actually ask of you? And what is your current ability, right? My daughter is 6.5, and where she is with writing is going to be different from everybody else. And I think we all know that as homeschoolers. We all know that every child is on different levels. So know what those levels are, and know when you're getting to the point that we're going to be disconnected here. We're getting close to that point of no return, where I'm not going to be able to get them to focus and pay attention to anything. And stop before you get to that limit. Don't wait until now there is an argument, or now, our emotions are all heightened. Try and recognize that point before you get there, and then stop. And that kind of comes into my tip number 2, is to encourage brain breaks. And that's what I tell my daughter. Let's give our brains a break. We're just going to take a minute. Let's do something else. Depending on the day, what we have going on, what part of the day we're in. Are we writing a little bit earlier in the day? Are we writing a little bit later in the day? Taking all of those things into account depends on what we do during our brain break. Sometimes it's a quick little, give yourself a break, stand up, do a fun little dance, sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, get jitters out, whatever you need to do. And then other times it's like, we're going to be done with this for the rest of the day. Like, this was good. If this is the best that we could get today, that's fine. We're just going to leave this where it is, because it's not worth everybody getting frustrated over. It is not worth ruining your day or your child's day over finishing the sentence. And I say that while also saying it is important to have them finish what they start. So there is a balance there, and you know that. You'll know when it's the time that it's just not going to happen. And then you know the time where it's, let's take a quick little break. You could even set up a timer. There have been times where I've done that. We're going to take a 1-minute break. I need a brain break. You need a brain break. We're going to set a 1-minute timer. And whatever that looks like, grab a snack or do a little dance, sing a song, whatever, for 1 minute. And then we're going to come back and we're going to finish what we started, because, it's important to say, if you need to take a break, you can take your break. However, this is not going to go away. We do need to finish it. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, ask and then listen. That's the key part, is listening and hearing what our children are telling us, what they're saying they need, what they're saying they like, what they're saying they don't like. And I will tell you one thing for us is my daughter has a tendency to want to do it right the first time. And I love that for her. However, that's really hard to do when you're learning new things at 6 years old. And I find myself kind of often reassuring her, it is okay to not know this. You are not supposed to know this because you've never done it before. And so offering that kind of encouragement and knowing and realizing that's what she needs has made a big difference. But that's because when we're doing writing or I'm asking her to write a sentence or a word or something like that, her sticking point is that it's not perfect. And not necessarily, well, I mean, kind of that it's not perfect, but it doesn't just immediately come to her. It's something that she really has to think about, and she doesn't like to do that. She doesn't like to, I don't want to say she doesn't like to put forth the effort, but it's not as fun, right? Like, it's not as fun when you have to stop and think about it and really get those gears going, when there are a lot of other things at this point that have come kind of naturally to her. So she's like, what is this? What do you mean I have to think about this, And so that just comes through, practicing things with her. And again, asking her, why don't you want to do this? What about this is hard? Or what about this do you not like? And then actually listening to those answers and working through them together. Sometimes it's just, I just don't want to do this because this is boring. And when that's the answer, it's I'm so sorry that it's boring. Maybe tomorrow I can find something else, or, we can try a different topic or whatever. But today, it is what it is. You have to finish it. The sooner you get done, it's done and over with, and you can go on to doing something fun. But if it's really a frustration point for her, I'm trying to think of an example, like spelling words. So when she's trying to write out a sentence and she gets to a word that she doesn't know how to spell, that is a point where she's like, okay, well, I don't know how to spell it, so I can't write the sentence, so I'm done. We're not going to do that. However, this is a place where I'll step in and help her. We work through sounding out the letter or sounding out the word together. If that's still not doing it, then I have had her pull out the dictionary. Let's try and find the dictionary, which is great practice. I've even said, hey, I know there's a book that we have that has this word in the title, or there's a book that's about this particular thing. I bet if you look through the book, you can find it. I want to try and encourage her to find those things and problem solve on her own through those sticking points versus just giving her the answer. And of course, that situation, what those sticking points are for your child is going to look different for everybody. But the overall tip here is to ask your child in those moments what's going on, what's happening, what's being frustrating, all those things, and then listen to those answers. And then tip number 5 is to offer variety. I have found that having variety in like ways, not necessarily ways to write, like we're not doing poems and narratives and recipes, like we're not that far. We're still just working on sentences at this point. But I just mean different ways that they can come up with ideas, different resources that require them to kind of go through a different thought process in coming up with their sentence. Those ways to get them brainstorming, I guess, is what I'm trying to get out here. And again, this could even go for, some of your older kids, just offering a variety. Like, don't always, well, again, I don't want to say don't always have the same thing, because for some kids, it may be extremely helpful for them to know exactly what to expect. And it may be easier for them to follow if you're presenting writing topics in the same way. So if every Friday you give your child, a writing topic, and that works, then you should do that. But for my daughter, I have found that she needs variety. She likes to choose from different things, and she's not always feeling the same thing every day. And so she wants to try different things, which really, I don't care. If that's what works, that's what we're going to do. And so the resources that I'm going to show you are just those. They are a few things that I have found that kind of get her brain going, and they're just kind of a fun, different way for her to think of stories and sentences to write and things like that. Before I show you those, I wanted to show you this. I found this on the Literacy Dive. That is a page, right, on Teachers Pay Teachers. I also follow her over on Instagram, and she has some phenomenal resources. I have found that there are more things for kind of your middle to upper elementary, because that's really kind of where you get into like the depths of actually writing, and you're doing narratives and all of that kind of stuff as you get a little bit older in elementary. But she did have a handful of things for some of your younger students, and what I'm going to show you is one of those that I think is going to be really helpful. And again, just kind of give my daughter a little bit of confidence, and give her another resource to look at, rather than, I don't know, I'm just going to ask mom, and now I'm frustrated because mom's not going to give me the answer. And so I'm trying to kind of be ahead of that a little bit and offer these things. So this is, and I'll have it linked in the description below. So if you guys are interested in this, this is the primary office folder, and she does also have like an upper elementary office folder along with a plethora of really awesome things. So be sure to check her out. She really does have some great stuff. Anyways, okay, moving on. So this is the, what did I say? Primary and primary office folder. Now she had this set up as like an actual like folding, like you take two folders together, tape them together, and it's, like you can set it up on their desk, whatever. I don't have space or time for that, quite honestly. So I just printed them out and I put them in sheets. So it's just my writing office. Let's see if I can show you guys without glare. But you have different topics you can write about, the different elements of the story, your writing reminders, your finger spaces, punctuation, that kind of stuff. And then this side is the writing process. We've not really gotten there. Again, we're just working on kind of writing sentences, but it's good to have. And we eventually will get a little bit more in depth with this process, but anyway. And then you've got numbers, colors, obviously your alphabet, you have shapes. Here you have short vowel sounds, long vowel sounds, weather words, months, days, and seasons. And then body words, what is this? Oh, word families, and then common blends and digraphs. And so again, I just thought this was a really cool resource. I'm just going to stick this in a binder for my daughter, along with a couple of other things that we have in her binder. And really this, I think that binder is going to become like the resources binder or something. But yeah, so that is that. Next, I will share these two with you. I will try and remember to link these. I did find these two on Amazon. This one here, I'll show this one first while I'm thinking about it. This is 52 picture writing prompts for kids. Tori over at the Oglesby Ohana, she had recommended this, and so obviously I got the idea from her. This is really cool. And what I like with this one is there is already a picture. So they do not have to come up with a picture. Obviously, every one of them has a different picture. So they can color it if they want to. It gives them questions here to think about what's happening in the story. So who or what is in the picture? Where are they? What are they doing? What time of day is it? How do they feel? And what are they thinking? And then this is like another little section you could draw, like maybe what else is happening in the story. And then here is where you draw your couple of sentences. And then another thing I really love is down here is this little checklist, and it's just for to check over your work. So is it neat, capitals, punctuation, spelling, and finger spaces? And yeah, I really like this one. My daughter is still at the point where we are still working on trying to get, because it says a few sentences. We are still working on getting 2. I want 2 full complete sentences. And I am okay with that because that is a lot of progress. We started out with only filling these out, but now we have gotten to the point where we will fill these out. We will for sure give me 1 sentence, but now I'm trying to work on getting that second sentence in. So love those. These, honestly, I think she got this forever ago for like a birthday or I don't know, something. But this one is 50 month by month draw and write prompts. So it's similar, but again, a little bit different. And so here, what is this? Book week bookmark. So on the bookmark, draw a picture of yourself reading your favorite book and then answer the questions. The book I'm reading is, the book is about, I like this book because, and then it says they can cut it out. And then here, so it does give you the months up there, like if you wanted to follow those. Harvest time. Imagine you're a farmer and it's harvest time. What did you grow? In the box, draw a picture of yourself with your crops. In this picture, I am, this is what I grew, the colors of my harvest are, and then it does give her a word bank over here, which I really like as well. So, like I said, it's similar, but just a little different. And not all of them, again, not all of them are this same exact format. Some of them are a little different. So even within this one, you're getting a little bit of variety in what the page is requesting or the information it's requesting from you. This one is a little bit more, it's the same every time, but the pictures are different. So same but different, you know. And then the last two, if you guys watched my book outlet haul, y'all know that I recently got these from Book Outlet. We have not completed like one full cycle or like one full story from these. But so far, so good. And I wanted to share them with you because I just think they're really awesome. But it's these, let's tell a story. So I got this space adventure because we're on space, and then fairy tale adventure. So to go through space here, I will just kind of quickly show you. So here it tells you how it works. Basically, you could go through and read it all when you get it. But basically, it asks you at the top here in that orange box, it says, you're going on an adventure. Which of the heroes do you want to be? So then it gives you this picture of all these different types of heroes and what they are. So it gives the words for what they are. And then down here at the bottom, it says it's time to get dressed. Turn the page and find outfit and accessories. So then same thing here, you go here. So this is one of those primary like spiral notebooks, and she just wrote those down. Over a couple of days, she went through and she made all of her selections and she wrote them all down. And now she will go through and write her story, you know, again, just maybe 2-3 sentences at a time. She will write her story in her storybook. And that's it. Those are my tips. Those are some of the resources that we like. Again, I try to encourage where I can, but I try and stay within those limits too. My daughter, again, she is only 6.5. So I just try to remind myself of that and know that she's doing the best she can most days. And some days they're just like everybody else. I just don't want to do this. And so I have, you know, the minimum, and as long as we meet the minimum, that is okay, and I'm good with that. So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.